Hello, folks. I'm Richard Moore, North Mississippi Anti-Gang Stalking Association, and on YouTube, United States Anti-Gang Stalking Association. Uh, I want to take a few minutes to address a few things for those that are targeted. Uh, for those that are targeted by what we call uh, criminal organized gang stalking, uh, maybe the public is more familiar with the term neighborhood watch or community policing, which is rampant and prevalent in the United States and globally. Um, in theory, this community policing uh, idea has positive uh, aspects and things that make it palatable for the uh, uninformed, rather, uh, citizen. So what we're trying to do is maybe put a little light on a very corrupt and criminal mechanism that's operating in America today. Um, I've stated before, I was targeted. Well, my earliest uh, confirmation, it's sometimes that's even difficult to really for some people to pin down when their targeting actually began. Mine did with a being uh, rubbing a few people, if you will, the wrong way in business, and and I suffered the repercussions of that by a Monroe County, Mississippi deputy planting evidence, conspiring with a local attorney, and they drafted a criminal uh, uh, setup in which I was convicted. So, and later, which we challenged in federal court. And for those that are not familiar with our federal court system, their conviction rates 96, 97%. I mean, it's you're challenging the most powerful government and system in the world. So, and the way the laws are written, it's it doesn't take much. Let's just put it that way. I now hold evidence and information that can substantiate everything I just stated about this chief deputy and and also a police investigator and an attorney and a few more that willingly and knowingly uh, uh, falsified information, planted evidence, made false statements that were presented to a federal magistrate, uh, and I can substantiate those things. So, needless to say, uh, here we are in 2020. Uh, the targeting has not stopped. Uh, so, what is the goal of community policing? From the outside looking in, was to discourage crime and to use to police and our neighborhoods and our cities and towns and use a holistic approach. So I'm going to try to make this real simple. This holistic approach is, in other words, everyone plays their part. So here's the fix. And on 9/11, of course, we know we had the World Trade Center bombing, the deal. On the heels of that, what did we get? We got President Bush created Homeland Security. And what else did we get? We got a a document that's called the Patriot Act. And what is the Patriot Act? Um, I know that most people listening to this have probably heard of the Patriot Act, but chances are you haven't read it. So I challenge you to do that. And while you're reading that, take a peek at the Constitution. Um, people say, well, you're real big on the Constitution. Well, yeah. I mean, it's some of those in power would love for the Constitution just to be just a historical document, something from the past. And it's an ever evolving and a piece of paper and so forth, in which nothing can be further from the truth. But the Patriot Act gave a blank check, if you will, to law enforcement and politicians and government officials on federal and state and local levels. This is the problem. And so, with that Patriot Act, if you read it, you'll see that it's loosely sewn together and it paints everything with a broad brush. Anybody can be segued into to fit into the Patriot Act as being a suspect or what have you, and fall under that. So it's kind of a blank check. So now we're enjoying things like that is law enforcement not having to use search warrants. That's really a thing of the past. Or as we know with WikiLeaks and all these other things, that our data is constantly monitored. It's not just select people, from telephone conversations in real time to text messaging and so forth and so on. That's the age that we live in. We live in the age of technology, obviously. We also live in the age of a real big brother. Now, if you think that, well, I don't break the law and I'm a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen and they're not doing that to me, who are you kidding? I mean, really, who are you kidding? This is when law enforcement uses equipment to, like Stingray, and there's other things to mimic cell towers to capture your telephone conversations and stuff in real time. These are, I mean, you're looking at $100,000 plus to have one of these machines. But that machine not only picks up the targets, whoever they're targeting, which all they've got to have to target a person is a hunch about anything. There's no checks and balances, okay? They don't like you, like the way you dress, like your political leanings, your race, your sexual orientation, whatever it is. It does not have to be justified, okay? Now, so not only is a target get hit, but in the and I don't know what the radius is of that individual, but that's not the only person that's being victimized by this unknowingly. So, well, we're hearing and seeing stuff, we're not paying attention to it. Well, that's beside the point, okay? That's just like a peeping Tom, and of course that's one of the things that stalkers, they wrote the book on peeping Toms, looking in your window, voyeurism, while you're taking a shower, and then saying, well, I'm paying attention to him. We were just saying, how pupils dilate in certain lighting situations. Well, blah 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 blah, and so I'm not making light of something that is serious. That's essentially what's going on. Constantly, there's hundreds and thousands of people in America today that are being systematically tortured, stalked, harassed, by any means necessary. So who's doing all this? And well, it's real simple. I just mentioned 9/11 and what happened, and then now Homeland Security has created the fusion centers, and those they operate in every state, and they're state owned and operated. Homeland Security state fusion centers, owned and operated by state employees. It's a convoluted kind of arrangement. Just on its face, it's a convoluted now kind of arrangement. And millions, I'm talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, flow into these fusion centers annually. I'm not aware of a terrorist problem in Mississippi or Alabama, but who knows? I don't know everything. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. So what's really going on? So I'll tell you what's really going on. Out of these fusion centers, and with the all-knowing technology and access to every single bit of digital data, that is, if it's digital and it's data, they got it. It's that simple. Okay, they've got it, and they can do with it whatever they want to do with it. So how do they get this money in? Well, it's all by checks and balances, obviously. There's an accounting system with this that they've got to have bodies, people they're investigating, active cases, people they're watching. These people are the majority. I'm gonna say maybe 99.9% of these targets are false targets. This is a false narrative that they have put an individual in. Now, who are these targets? Well, their preference is to take someone that, in their mind, are damaged goods. Okay, someone that has a conviction, that they've been to prison, jail. Someone that has a drinking problem, a drug problem, or is a deadbeat dad, and so that's the short list. They like to target someone that has some type of credibility issue, or someone that they can turn real quick to have a credibility issue that didn't have one. So that's the cushy, easy thing. So now there's your numbers, because we know that when you talk about recidivism in our prison systems across America, it's at an all-time high, and it's a revolving door. Why is that? Why is Walmart the largest retailer in the world? Okay, there's your answer. It's if there were no crime, no drugs, look at the pipeline of cash that would stop for hundreds and thousands of private and public people. So obviously they're not going to kick the golden goose. So the problem that we have is the money and the fraud that is involved in the county, from private contractors and government officials and government agencies, when they're using false information in their accounting and their checks and balances, purposely using false information in order to keep that pipeline open. Folks, that's fraud. That's your definition of fraud. on a major scale. This is the back door to community policing, gang stalking that they're not able to close or hide. So far, they've been able to run their holistic crime spree of biblical proportions and systematically deny countless Americans of their civil and constitutional rights, deny them due process, systematically torture. Have people died? Absolutely. I personally know of people that have died because of gang stalking. And when I make these statements, I can back these statements up with times, places, dates, names, etc. This is not a conspiracy, ladies and gentlemen. This is a fact. Now, how is it that so many targeted individuals can make complaints to law enforcement on any level and get brushed off? I mean, it makes no sense, does it? Well, sure it makes sense. Let me tell you how it makes sense. He said, well, are you saying everybody's in on it? Well, hold up a minute. The only thing that explains what I just said is this. Will you call and make that complaint, ma'am? Or you send in that written complaint and it's ignored, it's written off, and you're even insulted by asking you if you've seen a psychiatrist lately, or you on your meds, or anything to insult you, to further deteriorate the target. Similar to you're treated as it's like telling a young lady, have you considered maybe wearing shorter skirts? You wouldn't get raped as often. I mean, work with us here. This is the mentality. The only way they justify this, folks, is that they have that target is already in the system. Their name is in the system. Oh, what they call it in the system, it doesn't matter. We know what's there. And they're being looked at. So with that said, it'll be looked at by who? Well, the who is federal and state law enforcement. That's the only thing it excuses. It answers why you're not getting any play when you call the FBI or whoever else, because they've already been given a heads up. There's a lot of things going on. This individual's schizophrenic, and they're hallucinating, and we're watching them. We got this under control. They think these things are going on. Let us work. Let's do our job, and they brush it off. That's what's going on. So everybody is drinking the Kool-Aid. Everybody's getting a piece of the pie too, for going along with it. Now, who is everybody? Well, what about the people, the private companies that are not involved in community policing? They're just a private company, a publicly traded company, and trying to make it. Well, let me tell you who gets to make it, who doesn't get to make it. All right, you either play ball or you don't. If you don't play ball, guess what? There's going to be problems. Let's say FedEx, for instance. FedEx, do their part in working with community policing? Well, sure they do. They've got trucks and eyes and feet on the ground all over the country and most of the world. So why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? The truck drivers take cues and harass or intimidate people on the highway, or things. You say they do things like that? You betcha. Can we prove that? You betcha. Do we have video and photographic evidence of the things I'm insinuating? You got it. And so this is what we're doing. Don't take our word for it. A picture and a video is worth 1,000 words, 1,000,000 words. And when you see it over and over again, different places, different states, different cities, different people, it cannot be construed as but one thing, and that is a agreement, a systematic, a unified program, which the only people that are capable of pulling this off are the fusion centers. Every state's got one. Look it up. Now, it's go along with it. And so that's the people that say, why are the targets, why is it so difficult in getting traction and so forth? Let me tell you, if they're not on the program and doing their part, Walmart doing their part, FedEx doing their part, AutoZone doing their part, local police, fire departments, everybody working together. It's a holistic deal. We're going to make this a better world. Well, that sounds good. If we were in Red China or somewhere, this is the United States of America. We've got a thing called due process. I know that many people have never heard of that, but yes, due process. We have a thing called civil rights. We have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We have constitutional rights. All of us, whether you like us or not, whatever your opinion is or not, if you want to jump on the bandwagon and march against me or any individual because of a bogus conviction and you're that shallow-minded, trust me, a lot of things will happen. But me stopping and us backing down, changing course of pursuing what is right, what is legal, what is constitutional, that's not going to happen. Not today, not tomorrow, not next week. For those people, the detractors that I see online, it's isn't it strange? Isn't it strange? They're not appalled at the suggestion of corrupt law enforcement. They're not appalled at the suggestion of people conspiring to circumvent our justice system. Those people like that would do well in living in a dictatorship or a communist country somewhere else. These are the mindless morons that are on the front line that carry out daily tactics, systematic tactics against targeted individuals, where they are deprived of their constitutional rights and their civil liberties, purposely and systematically, at whatever means necessary. I'm not going to spend this segment on all the elements in that, the smear campaigns, how it starts, the rumors, how they demonize a person, then they isolate that person, and now all of a sudden people are treating them different, their families question, their friend, and it's designed for the target. That the whole program is designed as a blanket, a weapon of mass confusion. This is how that's their safety, their safety latch is this weapon of mass confusion. It is Spencer's gift, David Copperfield nightmare. And the more antics and smoke and mirrors and shell tricks and games that they can play with a human being, the more apt that person, that target, will self-destruct and discredit themselves. And everybody else their hands are clean. So when we talk about technology, when we talk about remote neural monitoring, V2K, just to name these all of these technical weapons that the military has access to. You can on your own time research this stuff if you're interested in it. The real stuff, okay, from the government contractors and the government. You don't have to go to a Area 51 site or a conspiracy site. You don't have to go that far. So we have the technology that the fusion centers and our government has access to is mind-boggling. Now, so yes, they have access to all that. And absolutely, if they can interject that, if they had an ass clown show up tomorrow with some new trick dice or something, they'd enlist him in the program. That's just another element of confusion they can throw in there to keep people off the trail. God forbid anybody get on the trail of calling these people to answer for what they're doing. So we could spend the rest of our lives talking about the things and the elements and how they use them, how to stop them, how to protect yourself from them. Let me tell you what, folks, you're chasing your tail. Let me tell you how you defeat these mechanisms and all the things that are being done to you. You defeat that by writing down and documenting what's going on, photographing, taking names, and you catalog that. There are other people that are doing it. We have a witness, a TI witness data collection site, our band site. You can hit the link on our Facebook page, North Mississippi Anti-Gang Stalking Association. This is a national effort, and we are collecting evidence right now for federal, civil, and criminal litigation. We will bring a federal civil class action against private and government agencies involved in this. We are seeking a great deal of compensation for each targeted individual in this country. Money is not the answer, but money is what feeds this beast. Okay, money is what feeds the lies that have to be told. And there's no justification. I want to say this for anybody that's involved or complacent with community policing or these fusion centers and what they're doing. Either you're part of the problem or you can be part of the solution. There's no middle ground. They organize these neighborhood watch deals in local churches. These people call themselves Christians. That's what we call fake Christians. I would promise you that there's no part of God in this program. God does not condone illegal, underhanded, shadowy, lying, destroying behavior by anybody under any name. These centers have been very successful in their local boots on the ground recruitment by putting a lot of other people, I'm going to say, in the cross. Okay, who they put in the cross? Well, now I'm not a bleeding heart for these folks. Okay, at the end of the day, there are going to be a lot of people that have criminal culpability in what's going on. Just because it sounded good and you participated in something you had no idea it was illegal is not a legal defense. Okay, ignorance is not a legal defense. So just like we've made it real clear for those that that interfere with our Facebook page and the people that are on there that are targeted individuals that are interjecting false information or harass or anything else. Those things are being documented daily. We will and are pursuing obstruction of justice. Now, they have what emboldens people to continue and repeatedly break the law. Well, the only thing that could possibly embolden a person to do that is those in law enforcement are telling them, "We got you, we got you." Well, I promise you, friend, when it hits the fan, and that it's going to do, I don't think unless you got or we got you, and it's signed off by a federal judge as a pass to conduct criminal actions against a private citizen, then your ass is going to have a lot to answer for. Okay, so just because you think that you've been told and convinced that what's going on is not provable, don't worry about it. We've got the brightest minds in the world. Well, let me tell you what, folks. Let me tell you about some bright minds. Those were the framers of our Constitution. And friend, you're not going to be able. I know that we've had some bumps in the road, but I'm going to put all of my eggs in that constitutional basket, all of them. Okay, that's where I'm hedging my bet that Lady Justice in our criminal justice system, uh, and I've said it many times, not perfect, but the best in the world. Has it failed me? Absolutely. So should I be bitter against what? Let me tell you, folks. Um, by the grace of God, I'm here today. Okay, I'm here because God says I'm here. I'm surviving because God says I will survive. When the criminal gang stalkers made sure I couldn't get a job or anything else, when they circumvented and interfered, you've got these morons that they're constantly trying to interject themselves into your life that have no lives. Um, they have zero effect on a person that has a faith like I have. Okay, and I know that, and it's amazing how I'll get people that will come at me and claim to be. Let me tell you what, you don't know the God I know, and I will promise you that my God does not condone any of His to attack one of His own. That is on its face a direct contradiction to what it is to be a Christian. To be a Christian, does that mean you're supposed to be some lily-livered, weak-kneed, panty-waist sister? Absolutely not. I'm willing to stand up and die for what I believe. I believe, just like the hundreds and thousands of men and women through the years, ages have died defending that Constitution, that you in community policing, whether you believe it or not or understand it or not, is not my problem. But one thing you're doing is you're spitting and trampling over the Constitution because you've taken upon yourself that there's something, well, I agree with this, I agree with that. Let me tell you what, there's a lot of things I don't like, but I still believe in the freedom of expression and speech. I still believe in those documents. I still believe that what this country was founded on is the reason this country is still here today. I believe that we constantly have people that try to interfere with our democracy into this great republic. We have that. We have this race, this thing pitted against the race and stuff. How do these things get magnified so much in the media? How is it that overwhelms anything that could possibly be encouraging or good? Thank you, Fusion Centers and the fake news, and they make sure what is the headline. They control the temperature and the heartbeat of America because people feed into it. And they don't buck the system, the law enforcement, and the private, they don't buck this community policing. It's just like the mask, okay? We could talk all day about wearing the mask in this current pandemic. And so what is it's not, that's not my calling, is to be on this mask thing. But when we talk about criminal gang stalking, we are talking about the mask, okay? This may bring it to a better understanding. Just wear the mask. Go along with it. It's easier to wear the mask than to have to go out in public and go into a place and be tempted with getting into a confrontation with a mask Nazi. So we just wear the mask. And you know, we wish that the masked Nazis would wear ball gags under their mask, but they don't. They're watching it. They're waiting, and because they've drank the Kool-Aid and they've gone along with it. Just because I wear a mask does not mean I drank the Kool-Aid. Okay, I mean, to tell you,